Early photography was slow. In 1826, this image, the first permanent photo, required 8 hours exposure time. That's why you can see sunlight on both sides of the building. Experiments with silver compounds and chalk led to the development of the daguerreotype in 1839. This process made it possible to take portraits of people like Edgar Allan Poe, here he is, or Abraham Lincoln. Photos that wouldn't fade. Good if you want to remember what they looked like. Unfortunately, exposure time was still half an hour. That's a long time to sit still. They even used neck braces and drugs to keep people sedated. The second half of the 19th century saw advancements that allowed people to reproduce photos, so you could start sharing them around, and the exposure time got shorter and shorter, meaning less sitting around. Photographers still had to prepare and develop their glass plates on the spot though, usually in a mobile darkroom. Have you got a mobile darkroom handy? In the 1880s, George Eastman, founder of Eastman Kodak, again revolutionised photography, developing the technology of film to replace photographic plates. This is a big step towards bringing photography into the mainstream. You remember the Kodak moment, don't you? In 1888, the first handheld camera came along. Look, no tripod. Photographers went crazy, shooting up, down, sideways, every way. The first permanent colour photo was taken in 1861. Colour, like what the world really looks like. One of the early methods of taking colour photos was to use 3 cameras. Each camera would have a colour filter in front of the lens. That's some photo shoot. Then the 1920s saw the invention of the first flash bulbs, meaning you could safely photograph in the dark. Before that, you had to use explosive magnesium powder and potassium chlorate, which would ignite with very little persuasion. Risky. The 20th century saw photography get faster, cheaper, and more widely available. We had compact throwaway cameras, Polaroids, and suddenly the revolution that was digital photography. No more relying on others to process our images for you, and no worrying about the cost of each and every shot. Newspapers and magazines quickly turned to colour digital photography, opening our eyes to more and more previously unseen, undocumented people and places at lightning speed. We even photographed the moon. So where is photography now? Through the course of the 1990s, we witnessed the next step in photography's evolution. The camera was put on the mobile phone. We wake up with our phone, we wake up with our camera. Photography became free, fast, ever-present, and, by virtue of being on a mobile communications device, easy to share. We never miss a moment, we remember everything. We see the world through each other's eyes, we share our every moment. We understand, we're closer. And that's it.